love. I get so lost sometimes. Days pass, and this emptiness fills my heart. When I want to run away, I drive off in my car. But whichever way I go, I come back to the place that you are. And all my instincts, they return. The grand facade so soon will burn. Without a noise, without my pride, I reach out from the inside. In your eyes, the light, the heat in your eyes. I am complete in your eyes, the resolution, your eyes. Of all the fruitless searches, your eyes, in your eyes. That was In Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel. I was jamming with my band a few months ago, and they were just jamming and playing. And when you're playing guitar, drums, or bass, you can just hit strings and jam, and stuff comes out. But for me, with words, it doesn't. Maybe I got nervous or locked up or something, and that's sort of been the case for the first 5 or 6 months of the band work since we started in April. And one of my bandmates told me, you want to tell messages, you want to give stories, you want to give speeches through your music, just talk, just start talking about a topic, and just talk while we're jamming. And so I did, and it was tense and it was tight, and I was copying the Rolling Stones or what I saw other people doing with music, and when I've seen them on videos or when I've seen them in bars, where you just start talking about, I don't know, like how your woman went and left to New Orleans or something. So it wasn't authentic for me, but I did it anyway. As time has gone on, I've gotten better. I've started writing from a place of internal truth, and the acting experience that I had helped a lot with that, because the way that I was taught acting by my great and amazing teacher Marco is to, I mean, you source it from the most deep and internal and extreme parts of yourself. And the people who have gone through that acting school have experienced stuff that you don't normally experience in real life, where everything is more surface, where things are more transactional, where people are not confrontational, when they're not honest about what they're really feeling, when they feel a lot and don't express it, which of course sometimes is necessary for real life, you know, in order to not get into fights. But when it comes to art, that's where the feelings come out, and that's why people, at the end of the day, they listen to songs like Peter Gabriel's, where he's talking about how his facades drop in when he looks at the eyes of the person he loves. And that's what reality is. As Marco says, art is more realistic than real life ever will be. So my music has been getting better. I've been taking singing lessons, and I wrote a song. I wrote lyrics a couple months ago, and they weren't good, and I stopped. I was discouraged, and I wrote lyrics to one of our songs, the same song, earlier this week, and it actually turned out to be pretty good. And I'm singing within the meter and actually telling a story, and it's turning out to be good and fun. And if the maybe over 1,000 or 2,000 hours I've spent listening to music in my life, over 15, 18 years, between Eminem, Enrique Iglesias, the Beatles, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Nirvana, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Billy Joel, Michael Jackson, LL Cool J, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd. I've listened to so much music, and little did I know that it was all pushing me to start making some music in time. It took time. I always wanted to do it. I always wanted it, but I didn't know I wanted it enough. Maybe it's because real life isn't as real as art is. You know, I didn't know that that was my real desire. And here I am. I have the freedom to do it. My father died a few months ago. I'm not saddled up with him anymore, and I've got my bandmates, and I've got a vocal teacher, and I've got all this music on my phone. I can just access any music that is on iTunes like immediately, and it's just amazing. And whatever I can do to use music to touch people in the way that Peter Gabriel's song has touched me, Metallica's songs have touched me, the Beatles songs have touched me, All of My Love has touched me. Tears in Heaven by All of My Love is Zeppelin song, and Tears in Heaven by Eric Clapton. Tears in Heaven and All of My Love are songs about, for both of these guys, Robert Plant of Zeppelin and Eric Clapton of Eric Clapton, their sons died like when they're like 5 or 8 years old. Robert Plant's died of some infection, and Eric Clapton's son was in a hotel or a some high rise or something, like 50 floors in the top of the building, and there was a babysitter, and the son was running around, and the son hit this glass window, and he flew out, and he fell 50 stories and died. And this song, Tears in Heaven by Eric Clapton, is about how guilty he feels about the fact that happened. He wasn't there, but he feels guilty, and he's talking about how he wouldn't be worthy of meeting his son in heaven. He says, "Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Would it be the same if I saw you in heaven? I'll find my way through light and day, 'cause I know I just can't stay here in heaven." And that, along with the other Zeppelin song, All of My Love, are two of the purest and most beautiful songs I've heard. And when I hear them, they take me somewhere that like no other music takes me. Another amazing song is Dear Prudence by the Beatles. And it's my favorite Beatles song right now. And the Beatles were in India meditating in an ashram, and there was a woman named Prudence Farrow who was obsessed with finding enlightenment, and she would meditate 24 hours straight and just cut everybody else off, and she had this single-minded determination to achieve enlightenment. And it was John Lennon's, and all the Beatles wanted her to come out and hang out with them and talk and chill, and it was John Lennon's job to go and try to get her to come out and spend time with them. And he wrote a song to that experience called Dear Prudence, and it's about, in the song, it's to me it's about how much beauty there is in life when you're living it now and not obsessed with some sort of goal, thinking that that's going to make you complete in some way. And he says, "The sun is up, the sky is blue, it's beautiful, and so are you, dear Prudence. Won't you come out and play?" And songs that are written from that really, really selfless spot are the ones that touch people the most. I have a cousin who wrote on Facebook years ago, Dear Prudence is one of his top 10 Beatles songs. It gives him chills every time he hears it. And the more I listened to that song, the more I started to like it. And it gives me chills every time, if not almost every time that, or whatever, the way I said it, that I hear it. All of My Love, also, there's this beautiful orchestra playing in the midsection with violin, and it's a truly beautiful song. And those songs, as well as movies like The Empire Strikes Back, The Mask of Zorro, The Lion King, I'd say Empire Strikes Back more than any of them, and The Lion King, and those songs have touched me more than anything else. And they've comforted me through very difficult times. I listened to the Lion King soundtrack like a million times in the year and a half that my dad was on his way out, and I can't tell you what it's meant to me to have that. So another thing, I told my friend, if I could have the impact on someone's life that James Earl Jones had on mine, I would. And James Earl Jones, he actually, my mom met him in New York in the 80s. They ran a bead store on Fifth Avenue, and he came in and met her and bought some beads. And I think that she didn't know who he was at the time until someone pointed it out. But as far as I'm concerned, Darth Vader, Mufasa, from two of my favorite movies, he and two of my favorite characters. I've watched those movies like 100 times each. Star Wars like maybe 500 times. Lion King probably 100, and those movies wouldn't be what they are without his voice. And for whatever reason, he found himself in the right spot, or they found him. Well, I don't know how it happened. It happened before my time, but he was in those movies, and his voice I will remember for the rest of my life, and it has resonated with me because it's so resonant and powerful. It resonated with me since the first time I saw those movies before I was 10. So if I can have an impact like that on someone's life, I'd be happy to. And it's not for the selfless songs. The selfless songs, those are the ones that are the most impactful because they come from the most pure spot. So I have a vocal lesson today, a meeting with my band today, and we're just going to keep on going to do and make whatever we can, and hopefully we can make it just as beautiful as all the stuff that I've been talking about that has helped me along so much.